Where's the President of the United States? He's not fighting for us. He told in LA, he told the union, hurry up and get a contract. That's the mentality they have. They don't even know what the hell they're doing today. Well, I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna save everybody's job when it comes to the ILA and to all the unions around the world, because we're gonna fight it with that alliance. I'll shut them down throughout the world to prove that we can beat them.
All right. Unions long seen as allies of the Democratic Party are starting to revolt against the left-wing agenda. And honestly, it's about time. For decades, unions have been a cornerstone of Democratic support. But now, a lot of union workers are waking up to the fact that the modern Democratic Party isn't really looking out for them anymore. This clip that I'm about to show you is from April, and it's only gotten worse for the working-class union workers since then.
In the past, we are basically Democrats, all of us, and after what's happened the last 4 years in this country, Democrats are basically pushing everybody to the other side. We're a very patriotic group, and we love our country, and we want the best for America. We are tired of immigration. We're tired of our tax dollars going to immigration. We're tired of the crime. We need to put a handle on things in this country and bring it back to how it should be. Put out a poll in my union. President Trump is leading Joe Biden 3-1 on my presidential poll out of my 9,000 members right now. We are very tired of the situation with groceries, inflation, gas prices, illegal immigration, crime. We're living it every day in New York City.
So that was when Biden was running for re-election. So let's check on how Kamala Harris is doing with union support.
But look at where Kamala Harris is today. She's only leading by 9 points. That would be the worst Democratic performance in a generation, 10 points off the mark of Joe Biden, who, of course, won 4 years ago, who was sort of that union guy, Union Joe, right? Won it by 19 points. She's 10 points off his mark, and the worst in a generation.
This is becoming a real issue for Democrats, and it's time for the media to start saying what this really means. The Democrats are no longer the working-class party, and they're losing their core demographic. They hurt factory jobs and union workers by letting companies go overseas for cheap labor. Now they're letting corporations come in with AI and robot machinery to replace hardworking Americans.
About 45,000 dock workers who run major shipping ports across the U.S. could go on strike as early as tomorrow. If that happens, it could block millions of products from reaching store shelves. I want to bring in global economic correspondent for the New York Times, Peter Goodman, to break this down for us. He's also the author of How the World Ran Out of Everything. Peter, great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So first, for people who are just like sort of tuning into this and picking this story up, what are some of the demands of the union?
The union is really focused on automation. You know, for as long as companies have been operating vessels and moving around the globe, they've looked to use machinery as a way to limit their vulnerability to strikes. They'd rather pay robots than people. Robots don't demand breaks. They don't have sick children to look after. They don't have demands for wage increases. The other thing is they want hefty wage increases. They're looking at the fact that shipping carriers have been earning record profits for much of the last several years, going back to the disruptions of the pandemic, and they want a piece of the action.
This is all going down under the Biden and Harris administration, and watch Kamala Harris' response to her weakening support from unions.
But not all unions have gotten behind you. I want to understand, when the Teamsters decided not to endorse you, what was their reasoning? What are they looking for?
Well, let me go back to our just previous conversation. I'm very proud to have the endorsement of the steelworkers and almost every other major union in America, because I stand by workers and I stand by the importance of being able to join a union and to understand the benefit and the value of unions. And I understand the importance of investing in new industries and working actively with the private sector to grow our economy.
But I'm asking because there's this idea we want something more from her. What is it?
Well, here's the thing, that back to your point about previous election cycles, Donald Trump made a whole lot of promises that he did not meet, and one would argue broke.
You see how she doesn't even want to answer the question. She wants to go back to talking about Donald Trump like he's currently in office. Since you're so obsessed with Trump, let's listen to him talk about the working class in America.
Vote for Kamala. Who the hell is going to vote? Open borders, tax increases, regulations at a level that no business will be able to hire you. Kamala is coming for your money. She's coming for your pensions. She's coming for your savings. And unless you defeat her in November, this country is going to go to hell. Here is the deal that I will be offering to every major company and manufacturer on earth. We will cut your taxes from 21% down to 15% and give you every possible advantage, but only if you make your product here in America and hire American workers for the job. Right? And if you're a foreign country and you don't make your product here, then you will have to pay a tariff, a fairly substantial one, which will go into our treasury, will reduce taxes. But if you send your product into the United States, that will happen. On the other hand, if you want to build your factory in the United States, there will be no taxes, there will be no tariffs, there will be nothing to pay.
At the end of the day, the Democratic Party can't keep taking union support for granted while actively pushing policies that destroy jobs and ignore the concerns of the working class. Unions are waking up, and they're starting to push back. The left-wing agenda just isn't cutting it for the people who actually build this country anymore.
Well, now to that strike threat that could impact busy ports up and down the East Coast. Today, New York's Romney Smith's in Newark, now one of the locations that could see picket lines come this time tomorrow. Romney.
That's right. The clock is ticking right now, darling, because that strike could go into effect at midnight tonight if an agreement isn't reached today. But let me give you some numbers to chew on. One, this union has about 85,000 members throughout the country. It would impact more than a dozen states if the strike happens. And if the strike happens, it will cost upwards of $500 million a day. Now, we know the impact is far-reaching if this strike goes into effect, and it will hit major retailers like Home Depot, IKEA, and Walmart. Items from electronics to canned goods, all on massive cargo ships that we know go in and out every single day. And there's already talk about the potential strike's impact to the winter holiday season, since every day of a strike would take between 3 to 5 days to get back to normal. Now, the International Longshoremen Association union members say they want more money for the work that they provide, and they also want job protection from automated technology. This would be a 6-year contract that they're trying to negotiate right now. President Biden could step in and stop the entire situation, but at this time, he has declined. Union reps say this is all happening because, quote, the United States Maritime Alliance refuses to address a half-century of wage subjugation where ocean carrier profits skyrocketed from millions to mega billion dollars, while ILA longshore wages remained flat.